By a show of hands, how many people here smoke? Cigarettes. Cigarettes. Alright, we got one. Okay, again, by a show of hands, how many people here know someone who smokes? I figured. Now, how many of you know exactly how much damage smoking does to your, not just your body, but your life in general? He has an idea. Okay. Now, smoking has multiple different effects on a person besides the physical and the medical reasons. There's social aspects of it, and there's also psychological damage that can occur. Now, first off, there's the social damage. Have you ever been around someone who smokes a lot? They smell. I know, I smoke. It smells. You don't like to be around it. And then if you're around it, like you're in a house where someone smokes, you go home, you're like, ugh, it's disgusting. You want to take a shower, you want to wash all your clothes, you want to burn your clothes, for God's sake. It's horrible. It's basically unattractive. Yeah. I've been told multiple times by several friends, you don't look good when you smoke. Doesn't surprise me. There's also the psychological damage. Now, the psychological damage, nicotine, which is the primary ingredient of the cigarette, is addictive. Flat out, there's no other way of putting it. And the chemicals that are part of the cigarette are also, they add to that addictive nature. Now, another part of it is the oral fixation. Oral fixation is basically, you get used to the motion of bringing a cigarette up and down from your mouth. That's why if you notice someone who's quit smoking, they tend to chew gum, chew toothpicks, anything like that, because they need that oral sensation. There's also withdrawals, psychological effects of withdrawal. There's agitation, lack of sleep, increased emotional sensitivity, so you get really offended really easily for the duration of the withdrawal. Now, these are all just reasons not to even start in the first place. But the biggest part of this whole thing, and I think the coolest part, is the math behind smoking. It's come to a point where doctors believe, roughly, they fairly agree, that every time you smoke a cigarette, about 7 minutes is deducted from your life for every cigarette you smoke. So, let's take an average man, say he started smoking at 15 years old and smokes till he was 55. So, if I can find a piece of chalk. So, if it's 7 minutes per cigarette, now in a pack of cigarettes there's 20 cigarettes, so 2 packs a day, that'd be 40 cigarettes, so 40. Now, if you do the math, 7 times 40, that's 280. So in one day he's taken off 280 minutes. 280 minutes is roughly 4 2/3 hours, so for the sake of math we're going to say it's 5 hours. So in one day he's taken off 5 hours of his life. That's just one day. Now, multiply by 7 days. In 1 week, he's taken off 35 hours of his life. That's more than a day, people. Now, how many weeks are there in a year?
52.
52, thank you. So 35 hours in 1 week. So multiply that by 52 weeks, I'm sorry. That adds up to 1,820 hours. I'm sorry. 1,820 hours in a year. That is roughly 76 days in 1 year. So, going a little bit further, this man smoked for 40 years, from 15 to 55. So multiply that 1,820 by 40 years. Now in 40 years, there's roughly 14,600 days. Now multiply 76 days by 40. Out of those 14,600 days, 3,040 of those days were destroyed by smoking. 1/5 of that 40 years, that's roughly 8 1/3 years, 1/5 of that 40 years was completely wasted. He has taken 8 years off of his future just by smoking 2 packs a day for 40 years. Now, that's not even getting into the medical effects of smoking, such as lung cancer, gum cancer, mouth cancer, throat cancer, tooth cancer, all the different cancers you can get from it. That's not getting into the emphysema, the chronic bronchitis, and the other, effects that it causes. So basically, flat out, there's no other way to say it, smoking is bad. I honestly wish I'd never started. But the information that I have here has strengthened in myself, and I hope in you all as well, to either A, never start, or B, quit today.